Well, 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 3 million more Epstein files have been dropped. How lovely. But let's get the foundation down first. First of all, I just want to say to all the brave warriors across the internet, just like I said in my previous video, thank you for your hard work and tireless dedication, because I don't have the time to do it, but thank you all across the internet for those of you who are sitting down for days at a time, going through files to find what you can. You guys are true warriors. Something else I want to point out as the foundation is just how unsurprising it is that people are this slow. Remember PizzaGate? The thing that we all talked about from 2016, ironically, pretty much exactly 10 years ago, and we were all called conspiracy theorists for believing it. Now, Pizzagate is such old news, people are relating it back to the Epstein Files like it's nothing. I was called a conspiracy theorist. I made count it, 5 videos on Pizzagate, and YouTube took all of them down. And I did remake my Pizzagate compilation video. It's back up on BitChute, but we'll talk about that in a minute. What I want to talk about first is a little bit of a refresher from my conspiracy theories video. If you haven't seen this video, you need to watch it because it's really, really good. But I need to make sure that all of you understand what a conspiracy theory actually is. So let's talk about what people think it is, what the media claims it is, and what it really is. So as we know, there are 2 types of conspiracy theories. One is, believe it or not, the actual definition. I know, in our backwards world and backwards definitions, it's crazy to find something that's actually using the real definition for once. So, type number 1 is something that's an actual, literal theory, but has very little evidence behind it, and that's why it's a theory, because there's not enough evidence to prove it as true. Something like Flat Earth, for example. That is a genuine, real conspiracy theory, because it's nothing more than a theory, and the evidence is way too weak to have any strength behind it. The second type of conspiracy theory is something that is in fact proven true without a shadow of a doubt, but the mainstream media wants to hide it, so they call it a conspiracy theory. And they will always use terms like, not just conspiracy theory, but they'll call it a right-wing conspiracy theory. The reason why they say that is to help disregard it by saying, well, you don't want to be a right-wing conservative, do you? Then you better not believe in that theory. It's nothing. It's not actually a theory. It's not a conspiracy, and it's often not even right-wing. But they will just say it is as a way to disregard people from actually looking into it and taking it seriously. Remember, the Clinton body count, that was called a conspiracy theory. It ended up being true. Now, we of course knew it was true 10, 15, 20 years ago, but it took the average-minded person until these days to finally figure it out. Hunter Biden laptop story, called a conspiracy theory, proven true. Pretty much everything about COVID, called a conspiracy theory, ended up being proven true. Pizzagate, and pretty much everything involving political corruption with the child sacrifice, child trafficking, and many other things, called a conspiracy theory, ended up being proven true. Now, let's talk about what a conspiracy theory actually is. The people who deny it, they are the conspiracy theorists. If you're the person calling something a conspiracy theory just because the mainstream media called it a conspiracy theory, you're the conspiracy theorist. That's the real definition. The real definition of a conspiracy theorist is someone who denies something just because the mainstream media said it's not true. So again, if you believed the mainstream media about the Russia collusion, you're a conspiracy theorist, because that was a conspiracy theory made up by the media. If you believed the media when they said that the Hunter Biden laptop story wasn't true, you're the conspiracy theorist. If you denied Pizzagate, you're the conspiracy theorist, okay? So that's the real definition of a conspiracy theorist. I expand massively in this video. Check it out. It's very, very important. But before we move on, I need to show you this clip from my PizzaGate video where I actually made a mistake, and not just a mistake, but I also need to use it for this video we're going to be making today. So please pay attention. In this part here, I talk about the cake that Neil Patrick Harris made for one of his creepy parties. He's also one of these people. Now, this one is a bit more innocent, if I can even say that, because he made this cake as like a Halloween joke or something like that. It's supposed to be the corpse of Amy Winehouse, but here's what I said. Just pay attention.
I have to show you. This photo here doesn't even look like the cake of Amy Winehouse because, well, simply put, it doesn't look like the other picture, which I find...
So I'll just summarize so that we don't take too long here. Basically, I involved this picture into what I said about Amy Winehouse. Now, the picture is related to what I'm talking about in the video, but it's not related to Amy Winehouse. I said right after, oh, it must have been a different party or a different place, and something like that. The reality is, no, this picture is not from Neil Patrick Harris's little party. It's from a different elitist party. But the reason I'm showing it to you is because this is just important in general. This is important to what we're talking about with all of this, political elitist, Bohemian Grove garbage. I've actually seen dozens of pictures like this, and I don't mean dozens of the same, party. I mean pictures of other parties where you see a dead body covered in blood, and there's politicians or celebrities there drinking up the blood. So the spirit cooking thing is true. Okay, I've seen lots of pictures like this. I'm going to see what I can find for as I move on in this video. But this is real. Again, not a conspiracy theory. And this is an adult here, but they do this to children too. I'm sorry if you don't want to believe it. Maybe this video's getting banned too. But all of this shit where these politicians and stuff like to take dead bodies, whether they be adults or kids, and drink their blood, that's real. This is not the Amy Winehouse party. It's a totally different one. And I don't know who this... I don't even know who this is. But I'm willing to bet that this is a real body. And these are politicians and celebrities drinking the blood. This shit is real.
I'm not sure.
And not only is it real... But you may have even heard about this story. The case of Gabriela Rico Jimenez has resurfaced after being told on the Mexico Unexplained podcast. The 21-year-old vanished in 2009 after making wild accusations. And isn't it funny that they always seem to vanish? The funny thing is, there's actually been a number of people who have talked about this and then ended up vanishing afterwards. Man, I thought it wasn't even true. So why do all these people vanish if it's not true? I mean, look at how many people randomly committed suicide after talking about the horrible things that Hillary and Bill Clinton have done. We all know about the Clinton body count. It's a real conspiracy. And so many of the people who went after Hillary and Bill have also committed suicide. They didn't just die. They weren't murdered or they're still alive and living somewhere. No, they all just so happened to jump off of buildings or something like that. It's fucking crazy. Now, this article is from 2024, but it actually happened in 2009. 17 years ago. This is how slow people are to actually pay attention. So it's hard to find just a pure video. This is not related to Jeffrey Epstein, but either way, it still applies. Eating humans. They're eating humans, she says. This shit is real. Research the Bohemian Grove. Research images like this. This shit is fucking real. And after that woman had that freak out, she disappeared. I really hope some of you people are finally starting to wake up. And it pisses me off that it took the Epstein Files for people to finally start taking this seriously. Because everybody called Pizzagate a conspiracy theory, and now because of the Epstein Files, people are saying, oh wait, Pizzagate was actually real. Would have been nice if you had known that 10 years ago, but regardless, let's finally start off with the Epstein Files. So many people are still in denial about all this because they're like, oh, this stuff is so crazy. How can I believe it? Once you wake up and you are aware of what goes on in the Bohemian Grove, Skull and Bones, MK Ultra, the fact that it's literally psychologically proven that pretty much every politician is a clinical psychopath or a sociopath, and Hollywood is a literal pedophile ring and has been for a long time, you will stop finding all of this so shocking and almost expected. The fact that all these files are released and people are still like, oh, well, what if some of these claims are just exaggerations or lies? I mean, you don't know. Just because they're in the files doesn't make them true. Stop. I understand it's hard to accept, to know that everyone who controls every aspect of your life, the government, are child molesters, but they are. I got a lot. You can see the top of my screen there. There's a lot to go through. Let's dig right in. So the first thing is, just like I said, Pizzagate is real. Alex Jones recently posted, Pizzagate is 100% real and is 99% DNC. When we exposed it, CNN and the New York Times created a distraction from the real documents. We have these creepy photos. John Podesta is right back. That's right, we're going back 10 years to take a look at some of these pictures. We got these politicians in the middle here. It's so disgusting. And you know what? I believe this is Kim Noble, the woman I mentioned in my Pizzagate video, who draws all of this creepy-ass artwork. And I want you to actually be very focused on this picture. Again, I know it's disgusting, but we have a connection to make, and it's very important to make connections because that shows pattern, and pattern recognition is very important. We have this baby's leg being cut off. Please remember that for a minute. Here's one email, I guess, from Jeffrey. I don't even know. This is better than a Chinese cookie. Let's go for pizza and grape soda again. No one else can understand. So again, as already proven, we know that the pizza terms are real. I covered this in my video. Please watch it if you want to get all the details. We found that in the recent Epstein Files, the pizza terms are mentioned over 900 times. And it's pretty obvious what grape is code for. Just remove the G. It's not that difficult. This one is a survivor of George Bush Sr. Let's take a look at what it says. Thanks, blank. I didn't realize Bush graped him too. Okay. I just love how, again, you gotta love how nonchalant all of these politicians are about that. I'd like to add a few other points disclosed by the purported victim. While on this yacht, he witnessed African-American males having sex with white blonde females, all of whom were bleeding during intercourse. He was a victim of a type of ritualistic, so as you can see, as I told you, the rituals of murder, sacrifice, blood drinking, it's all real, in which his feet were cut off with a scimitar. And right there. So there's a connection. We know that these things are part of their occults, but left no scarring. On the yacht, he witnessed babies being dismembered, their intestines removed, and individuals eating feces from these intestines. He was also graped by George Bush I. Moving right along, talking about Pizzagate, we know it's been mentioned over 900 times. Alex Jones gathered some of the screenshots where it's mentioned. You mean radiating a soft glow with the look... By the way, another pattern you'll notice is that anybody who seems to be a psychopath or a sociopath, as we know, sociopaths are usually very stupid people. Psychopaths are usually smarter. But because they're dumb, they can never type properly. A pattern you'll see in all of these emails, not just from Jeffrey, but also the pedos that Jeffrey talks to, they all type like they don't like they don't know how to use a fucking keyboard. The look of bliss and excitement. Yeah, that's the pizza. I wanted to let you know the crew really appreciated the pizza today. Thank you for letting us do that. Do means you're doing an action, not eating something, but okay, there you go. Moving right along, we're going to go into a little segment involving Prince Andrew. Back in the 90s, Ghislaine Maxwell recruited a girl from a modeling career. Instead of modeling, she was sold as a slave for sex and torture. Prince Andrew was an accessory to her death as he tortured her and me to force her murder. I need to get a passport to identify her. I will need someone to contact the passport office to get an expedited passport. Moving right along, one of Prince Andrew's victims actually mentioned the Prince Andrew doll, which was recently found in the background of an Epstein file photo. It was easy to give them the reaction they desired. All I had to do was pretend to be entertained by their lewd gestures, and when Andrew cupped my breast with a doll made in his image, I only giggled away. She continued, Ghislaine wanted to take pictures of the bizarre scene and even got Joanna, another one of Jeffrey's so-called personal assistants, to come sit on his other knee for the snapshot. After many crude jokes, Virginia then claims that she was ordered to take the prince to the dungeon for a massage. Joanna previously testified to this incident in a 2016 deposition in Virginia's case against Maxwell, saying under oath, per the Mirror, I sat on Andrew's lap. They took the puppet's hands and put it on Virginia's breast, and so Andrew put his on mine. Moving right along, we find that this woman, Virginia, who the Queen helped Prince Andrew avoid in court, has apparently committed yet another suicide. I mean, at this point, how can you even believe, without even researching, how can anybody just be like, oh yeah, suicide, okay. I mean, the amount of suicides there have been from Hillary Clinton to Jeffrey Epstein is fucking crazy. A little bit of a drink before this one. Prince Andrew's fresh pics are absolutely damning. Prince Andrew crouched over a woman on the floor, big grin, zero shame. What a fucking freak. Alright, check out this one. From Prince Andrew to Ghislaine Maxwell. I am up here at Bulmer Summer Camp for the royal family. Activities take place all day, and I am totally exhausted at the end of each day. The girls are completely shattered, and I will have to give them an early night today, as it is getting tiring splitting them up all the time. How's LA? Have you found me some new inappropriate friends? Ghislaine says she's trying to organize a child for him to fuck. Here we go. I know I can rely on you to show him a wonderful time and that you will only introduce him to friends that you can trust and rely on to be friendly and discreet and fun. He does not want to read about any trip in the papers. Gee, I wonder why. Here's Jeffrey Epstein and Peter Mandelson discussing Prince Andrew's daughter Beatrice in 2009. Does that make it incest? How exciting. Check out this document. When I was 6 to 8 years old and living at somewhere in Surrey, UK, I was drugged at night and driven by my father, blank, to pedophile ring parties. The main house I was taken to is located behind Thorpe Green at the end of a private road. Hurst Farm Livery Stables is next door. In the driveway of this house, I was hit by a dark blue car with personalized license plates ending in driven by Prince Andrew. I was not taken to hospital, but I suffered permanent injuries to my ribs, hip, and leg on my right side. The car's hood figurine broke off in my hand on impact, and I later buried it near my home so it could still be recoverable as evidence. After I was hit by the car, I woke up to Prince Andrew doing something in that house. I have medical records of the resulting infection. I once ran away from the house naked and made it to the Irish traveler community down the road. Anyway, yada yada. Taken to another house. In 2018 there, I was restrained on a table and tortured with the electrical shocks by Maxwell. and surrounded by watching men. I remember seeing Prince Andrew's face. I tried to sneak out. Maxwell caught me and beat me with the bristle end of a broom. She also threatened me, saying that I deserved to die and hit me in the face with the broom, breaking my nose. I was only taken to the hospital for the broken nose after a rugby match so that the injury could be blamed on that. Fuck. This is between Jeffrey Epstein and Elon Musk. Understood. I will see you on there. The ratio on my island might make Talila uncomfortable. Do you have any parties planned? I've been working to the edge of my sanity this year, and so, once my kids head home after Christmas, I really want to hit the party scene or elsewhere and let loose. The invitation is much appreciated, but a peaceful island experience is the opposite of what I'm looking for. So I guess Elon didn't want to go, but whatever, I don't know. Maybe he probably did. I don't put it past any of these people. Check out this one. Look closely at the ancient tablet he is holding out. Were they trying to do dark magic? With her hand covered in blood. Would you really be surprised considering what I already showed you earlier? Check this one out. Between Martin Nowak and Ghislaine Maxwell, he is apparently a Harvard professor. Dear Ghislaine, many thanks again for your amazing hospitality. I am so very sorry I caused you so much worry and that I spoiled this day. I am so happy that I did not kill anybody. Okay, you didn't kill anybody, but can you please tell me why that was even an option in the first place? What is fucking going on? Here is yet another conspiracy theory proven true. As the smart people have been saying for years, of course, the orange juice people have been trying to push all of the trans stuff on as young kids as possible in order to make everybody trans. This has been a thing we've been talking about for years. And here's Jeffrey Epstein and Robert Trivers admitting to it. It is very simple. I will compare male to female with female to male. With greater molecular control over development, we are increasingly capable of producing novel phenotypes. More feminine men by blocking testosterone receptors, or castration, and at the same time increasing estrogen production. The one blocks male features, the second one encourages female ones. More masculine women. Heavy testosterone dosage, incredible external effects, heavily bearded men, you would never guess they had female bone in their body. First kind, male to female, is 4 times more frequent than female to male. The first is attractive. He is a woman with a cock, so that if your fantasy is to suck a man's dick, otherwise you are completely heterosexual. It would be much nicer if the rest of the organism is female, then you get the best of both worlds. So many transsexual women are very attractive and easily make money, which in turn they assert promotes their prostitution since they have to pay hefty fees for injecting every week. But they are sexually happy. Once you have reached manhood, even castration does not prevent the sensation of organism. Contrast the poor female to male versions. They are unhappy and lonely. They are men with mum-pums, the worst of both worlds. If you like smelly, masculine men, you want that hard cock that comes with the show. You do not want one of nature's more complex and variable structures, the pum-pum. This is an acquired tasted and not with a man. There are hundreds of female trans videos and websites. I have never seen a male one. By the way, are we now pushing the intervention earlier so you notice your 3-year-old son has trans tendencies? So now you intervene with hormones. I would be frightened to do that, but who knows? So, yet another conspiracy theory proven. Moving on with these freaks. Donald Trump, the president, has parties at Mar-a-Lago called Calendar Girls. Jeffrey Epstein would bring the children in and Trump would auction them off. He measured the children's vulva and vaginas by entering a finger and rated the children on tightness. The guests were elder men and included Musk, Donald Trump Jr., and his own daughter Ivanka. Trump was there. Attorney Alan Dershowitz was also there with attorney Bob Shapiro. We were taken in rooms, forced to give oral sex to Trump, forced to allow them to penetrate us. I was 13 years old when Trump raped me. Maxwell was also present. Blank reported an unidentified female friend who was forced to perform oral on Trump approximately 35 years ago. The friend told Alexis that she was approximately 13 to 14 when this occurred, and the friend allegedly bit Trump while performing oral. The friend was allegedly hit in the face after she laughed about biting Trump. The friend said she was also abused by Epstein. Blank reported she has a friend who was a personal assistant to Epstein in Florida from 86 to 91 or 92. This friend shares names of some of the guests at Epstein's parties, to include Bill Clinton and Trump. At age 16, while modeling, Caller attended 8 parties at his New York residence. On one occasion, Caller reported she was assaulted by Epstein. On another occasion, 2 twin brothers, Alan and Orrin Lunar, called and her friend upstairs, but they escaped back downstairs. Caller stated Orrin raped her best friend, and a third brother raped a 14-year-old girl named something. Caller named and other individuals involving big orgy parties with her and other young girls, an older Victoria's Secret model, including Clinton and Trump. God help me. Online Compliant reported she was a victim and witness to a sex trafficking ring at the Trump golf course between 95 and 96. Compliant reported Maxwell as the madam and broker for the parties, clients of whom included Epstein, Robin Leach, and Trump. Compliant reported participating in orgies and that some girls went missing, of course, rumored to have been murdered and buried at the facility. Compliant reported being threatened by Trump, that head of security, that if she ever talked of what went on there or who she saw, he would end up as fertilizer for the back 9 holes like the other cunts. Compliant claims to have video of high-profile sex parties dealing with cartels and having witnessed Robin Leach strangle a young girl to death at a party. Here's another one involving Trump, reporting that she was forced to perform sex acts when she was 13 years old and got pregnant in 84. Compliant also reported there were high-profile individuals involved in her sex trafficking and the murder and disposal of her newborn daughter. There's another rape case down here involving 2 unknown males, one of which is Trump. Go ahead and just read the whole thing. Pause the video. I'm moving on. This one is supposedly between Jeffrey Epstein and Benjamin Netanyahu. Epstein says, "Where are you? Are you okay? I loved the torture video." Here's Jeffrey Epstein discussing the possibility of World War III. He was discussing this in 2018. "We need to discuss World War III. The investors want to know if we are still planning for February 8, 2026. Well, that's in 2 days, so get ready. Please be advised that I am on vacation till July 29. I will be attempting to be off-grid." Yeah, God forbid, you don't want to be caught while you're fucking kids. Apparently, the redacted part here is a child in between 2 chickens, and if you understand all of their fucked up symbolism between 2 chickens, it's the sacrificing. Yeah, you get it. You either get it or you deny it. It's one or the other, right? And we're gonna end on the most disgusting file that I was able to find. Don't look, just go to 2J's. "Do you want veggie cream cheese tomorrow? I would go look for it now. There are millions of babies. Very little good vegetable cream cheese. Lol, I don't know if cream cheese and baby are on the same level. It's okay, there is still enough time today. I am trying to schedule priming for 5:30, fuel explosion 9:45. We'll bring a new engine startup video." So, discussing that babies taste like cream cheese. I can't fucking take it anymore. I was already exhausted before I even started filming this. Just researching this took so much out of me. But I'm going to end off by showing you 2 videos from Instagram. This is Epstein and some kid, I don't know. And the last thing I want to show you, actually before I show it, I just want to say something. You got to keep something in mind. This is the stuff that was not redacted. processed. I know some people need time to really grasp things, so take a minute and process that. This is the stuff that was not redacted. Just imagine how bad the stuff that is redacted was, if this is the stuff we are allowed to see. Anyway, the last video I want to show you guys is something that I'm pretty sure you've actually all seen at some point, because it's extremely common. Jim Carrey has been trying to expose these people for years. Actually, decades. I think the first time Jim Carrey ever tried to bring light to pedophile Hollywood was probably close to 30 years ago. Now, there's many videos of Jim Carrey talking about it, but I'm not going to sit here looking for all of them, so instead I'm just going to show you one.
Kidnapping children is not what great nations do. We in America are misinformed. Reality shows have warped our idea of what a hero is, or what the truth is. Kidnapping children is not what great nations do.
Kidnapping children is not what great nations do. That is not even close to the first time Jim Carrey tried to bring attention to this. To be honest, I am shocked that he's still alive, maybe because he's too good of an actor, so Hollywood doesn't want to get rid of him yet. But the fact that he has said this, and more than once, is crazy. But what's really sad is that the other pedophiles in the audience just applaud him and laugh to try to make it look like a bit. But Jim, those of us in the know that you're not joking now, and you weren't joking when you started doing this 30 years ago. I need a break, again. Bye.